Do
We are
the
recording to the cloud.
fabulous. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Kim Sherman-Labrum. I'm with the Small Business Development Center, and welcome to our class today. I am so excited to welcome you to our virtual training on getting the best out of Facebook, which I know is not the official title, but that's what I'm going to call it right at the moment. The Small Business Development Center is a service that is available to you as a small business owner, and you can take advantage of it for free. We offer confidential one-on-one mentoring, and that is available currently virtually. Eventually, we'll probably start going back to doing it in person and still offering virtual. We also do trainings like what you're about to experience. Sometimes we do them in-house, meaning that we have our people, you know, teach them. And then sometimes we find somebody in the community like Dallas Crum, who is our instructor today, who knows far more about it than we do and can do a deep dive into some of these topics. So we also have accelerator spaces for those of you who are in the Boise area. I know some of you may be from out of the area, but if you are in the Boise area and you're looking to eventually move your business out of the house and out of the back room, please let us know, get in contact, and we can let you know about what space we have available. We have a small accelerator in downtown Boise, and we have one in Nampa as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dallas and let him take the reins. But thank you all, and we are recording this, so I would ask that you keep yourself on mute. Just to keep the noise down and whatnot. We will follow up with the recording afterwards, as well as Dallas's slides. If you need to ask a question, please chat. The chat is up, and Dallas may actually stop and ask for questions as well. I'll let him manage that, but I will mute myself, and it's all yours, Dallas.
Thanks, Kim. I can't believe, I think this is our fourth one. Is this our fourth? We've been doing this for is this fourth or fifth one
This
maybe?
is fourth or fifth. It's been, what, a year and a half now, I think.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
cool. So
time flies.
it does. Well, welcome everybody who we have on. I'm sure we'll have some people join in. It looks like we have about 7 of us on here. I am going to be turning off my video here soon just for bandwidth purposes to make sure everyone can hear me, and I'm going to share my screen with some slides. Really excited to dig in, and I want this to be as interactive as we can. And when we do this in person, I like to ask a lot of questions and talk. When we do it virtually, that can be more challenging. So we're going to try to light up this chat here. And as I share my screen, I'm wondering, everybody that is here, if you could just type in what your business is into the chat, that will help me kind of identify some different businesses, and maybe we can use it as some examples as we go. So I'm going to share my screen. If everyone would just, in the chat function there, type in what your business is. And we are going to present here. And give me 1 second here. I want to make sure I can see the chat. All right. Can everyone see my screen here? There's the chat. All right. We are dialed in here. Beautiful. We got the chat up here. Good to go. We got, let's see, solo counseling practice, readers, theater works, education, literacy, enrichment for kids. Awesome. Coffee shop, market research, intern at tech help. Cool. Welcome. 111. Okay, cool. All right. So I'm going to stop my video here so we can get some bandwidth. Can everyone confirm that they can see my screen in the chat? Everyone can see it all right? Just say yes in the chat, or I can see it, or something there. Yep. Okay, Cassie, thank you. One press, thank you. Rafaela, Everybody, beautiful. Okay, welcome to How to Maximize Your Online Advertising. Um, we're going to dive into some, some deep topics, but we're going to try to keep it high level so everyone can understand them. There's a lot of misconceptions with marketing on Facebook, with marketing on Instagram, marketing on social media, online in general. And we are here today to show you the stuff that actually moves the needle. So I'm not interested in fluff metrics or things that'll make you feel good about yourself, like followers or Facebook likes. We're interested in serving customers and in return making money or revenue, right? So that's kind of what we're focusing on here today. And I want to start with a little story. If anybody doesn't know who John Wanamaker is, obviously he is not around anymore. But John Wanamaker is actually famous for kind of the original department stores. So Wanamaker stores, which were on the East Coast, actually ended up turning into what is today now Macy's. So, before Wanamaker, there was not people didn't have price tags on things in their stores. There's a lot more kind of bartering. He really is one of they kind of say is the founders of advertising and marketing. And the funny thing that he said all these years ago is he said, he's famous for the quote, and you may have heard it, is, let's see if I have it here on this next slide.
Go again.
Half of the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is I don't know which half. So I'm sure, I know I could relate that, it is now 2020. And according to this, that's almost 100 years ago that he passed away. So it must have been 100 years since he said this. And I think this is still the case for a lot of businesses. And the exciting thing is this actually happen. We have a lot of opportunity now to be able to track things and be a lot more analytical in our processes, so we can actually put money into advertising that brings revenue predictably. And that's kind of what we're going to walk through here today is how you can create that predictable system. So just my goal for this workshop is for you to come and learn new tools and strategies to get the most out of your advertising marketing efforts. Again, we're going to stop a few times here and work on a few things, but I'm really excited to jump in now. So to give you a little bit of background, so you can kind of see my perspective, where I'm coming from on all of this. I guess I'll give you just a short background on my story. And one of the first businesses that I started was called Vivid Roots. Vivid Roots is a travel operator and travel agency. We basically take people on trips to Guatemala and Ecuador. Obviously not right now. Everything has been canceled for the rest of this year. But we do these things, and then we go up into rural villages and help bring access to clean water, education, and health services. And when I started this business, you can see here, this is one of the health centers that we worked at. When I started this business with three of my best friends, we really dove into this social media marketing, right? Like this was this thing that was supposed to take us off and really, blow up our business. We were so excited, and we did everything they told us to do. You can see it. Here's a screenshot on Facebook from a little while ago. We grew our page up to almost 18,000 people, our Twitter up to 17,000 people, that's our Instagram profile at over 25,000 people. And this was a lot of work to get here. We did everything that gurus and everyone was telling us to do, which is, put out content. And I'm saying this in air quotes. You can't see me, but I'm saying in air quotes, put out content, do these things, da da da. And we did that, and we did everything. And it was exciting. It definitely built something, and it built some brand depth for us. But one of the biggest things that I noticed is it didn't bring predictable revenue. No matter, we even put together spreadsheets to try to see if there was correlations between followers on each channel and new revenue and these sorts of things. And it didn't correlate directly. And so that was honestly really frustrating for me because of how much effort we put in. So it really went back to the drawing board, tried to understand the true power of these platforms. And after doing that, we really realized that, wow, there is a way to do this strategically. There is some money involved, and you don't have to have a huge budget to be able to do it, but especially in today's day and age. These platforms are pay to play. That's why they're constantly asking you to promote your Instagram posts or boost your Facebook posts, right? Um, we're going to teach you today an even better way to do that. But I say all that because there's a lot of wheel spinning, and I know with a lot of our clients, they feel the same way, that there's a lot of spinning your wheels, and I don't want you to feel that way. And that's why from that first company, we actually then realized, holy cow, there's a lot of people that kind of need this help after we kind of learned how to work the system the right way. And that's where Inspire Media was developed. We are a digital marketer certified partner. Basically, that means we're certified to teach a lot of these ideologies that we utilize from Digital Marketer, which is one of the world's leading organizations in digital marketing. And what we do is we run an agency and consultancy. So basically, we do digital marketing for a number of different clients across multiple industries. So everything that I'm teaching you here today will work across any industry pretty much. It really works across the board. We have case studies across the board to show it works. And we'll show you under the hood of exactly what we're doing to kind of get success for our clients and exactly how we're doing it. And the reason, I'm really passionate about teaching this stuff is because I spun my wheels for a long time, and I really don't want anybody else to, have to feel that way and do that. So anybody who's new, by the way, I saw a couple new people. Looks like William, Justin. Go ahead, throw your businesses in the chat here so I can see what kind of businesses we're working with. So the three things that we're going to cover today, get out a pen and piece of paper for any notes, but you, as Kim mentioned, you will get this deck. We have links in this deck to teach you how to do more things that will go into depth on other things. So you are going to get a PDF access to this deck, but definitely take some notes as we go through. Airbnb, nice. So customer value journey. This is probably the biggest thing, the number one mistake most business owners, marketers make is not being thoughtful of their customer value journey. The second piece is not using data to drive results. Data is a big word now, and I know that's very vague, but we're going to dive into exactly what that means and the exact data that you have. Justin, chiropractor. Okay, awesome. This is going to be great for you guys. Lastly, how following up can change your business. This is probably the number one thing that I wanted to bring, something that would really help you move the needle just from this conversation. And number three is the number one thing I hear that people were able to implement right after they go through this training or similar trainings. They implement it right away and are able to make a huge return right away. So this is your low-hanging fruit at number three. And we're going to talk about exactly how you can follow up to, get some revenue. Just to show a few case studies here to show, we're not joking around. This stuff really works. We like to track our results very closely. We have a client here. There's actually a nonprofit organization that has gone through our systems. And you can see here in a period of 90 days, 14x return. So this is all trackable. Everything that we're doing, we're doing our best to track, and we'll talk about that throughout this process. But it really does. This stuff does work. And I wanted to actually share. I told Kim I'd do this before. We've had a lot of people asking about the results of this type of marketing, especially in light of COVID-19 and the state of the world right now. And I wanted to talk about these because these are actually very recent case studies that we have. It was very interesting. We watched, basically, I'm going to show you three different clients here. We watched what happened over time, over this period, and early on in the end of March and early April, we really watched sales decline. People were not shopping. They were still clicking. People were window shopping. Essentially, we're using metrics like cost per click, which you'll see on this slide right here, and click-through rate to see what people's behavior is like. But we can also track conversion rate if we do have an e-commerce client or a client that we can track leads through. So this client has been with us for about 3 years, and it was interesting. They really dropped off. But what's been really interesting to see, and you can see this date time period up here is a period of 2 weeks in April, and we haven't updated it yet, but this trend is continuing up. We're seeing a lot more confidence in the market. The reason being is you can see we're tracking this number. It's called purchase return on ad spend. Basically, that means for every dollar you spend, this campaign you can see is making $9.36 in return, right? $9.36 in return. For every dollar we spend on advertising on this campaign, on this line, we're making $15.61 in return, on average at $11.07. So basically we're getting 11x return on this over the end at the end of COVID. Why this is so interesting to me is because we've never seen such a dip and then a rise in confidence again. And no one knows any, I think, true answers to what's going to happen to the economy. But as digital marketers and our ability to see people's shopping and behavioral patterns, it makes us feel confident that people are still buying. They are ready to purchase. We just have to get in front of them in the right ways. So I wanted to share that here. Again, you can download these. I have 3 examples showing kind of the same thing. We actually launched a client right in the middle of COVID-19, and they're growing pretty fast into, they're making a 2x return right off the bat, launching in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. And another client that we launched a little bit before, making a 14x return during COVID. So I just wanted to show this, that this was something that, is exciting for us to see. We're really happy to see these numbers turn around and start, going in a positive direction. So just wanted to start it off with a little bit of positivity there. But now let's get down to business, and we'll jump right in here. So first things first, the customer value journey. Since the days of John Wanamaker, 100 years ago, things have changed. Many things have changed. The good news, though, is the most important thing hasn't changed. We are still doing business with humans. So you may have a question here. Is this going to work for me B2B or B2C? It looks like we do have mostly B2C customers here. Maybe with research, we might have a little bit of B2B, but everything we're talking about today is really B2H. We're talking to humans, and the strategy we're going to talk about, this customer value journey, is built in human psychology. And to kind of show why we're going to talk about this customer value journey in the terms of stages. And it's actually sort of based on some of the science from this scientist named Desmond Morris. Desmond Morris was a man that studied, and he wrote a book called Intimate Behavior and the 12 Stages of Intimacy. And so you're gonna have to bear with me here. We're gonna dive into an example, and we're gonna talk about human relationships, because really when we're talking about marketing, we're talking about humans. And what Desmond Morris said is he did a really interesting study about human behavior. I'm not gonna dive super deep into his study. It is actually linked here, I believe. If you when you get this deck, you can go into it. But he basically studied intimate relationships. We basically go from not knowing someone to being in an extremely intimate relationship, right? Getting married, living together, doing intimate things. And how can you go from not even knowing someone exists to this level of intimacy? And what he studied is there's actually 12 stages. And there's a process that pretty much any intimate relationship goes through, and there's 12 stages. And what was most interesting is the amount of time. He thought originally there's a certain amount of time to go through these 12 stages, but as we know, some people can become in intimate relationships very, very quickly. And he actually realized that time didn't matter. It was that we just didn't skip any stages, or if we did skip more than 2 stages, technically, according to his research, it was actually considered assault if you did skip 2 of his stages. And again, there's a very deep study. I'll link it up for you guys to check out. But the reason this is relevant is in business, especially with social media marketing on Facebook, on Instagram, we skip stages. And this right here is the customer value journey. And we're going to talk about how not skipping stages is going to be so important. I definitely recommend you'll get this in form of a PDF. You're going to want to print this off and utilize this tool. I know it looks a little bit like a kid's menu, but I promise you it's one of the most powerful tools I've found in marketing. Our clients, large and small, love this doc because it really helps us give a roadmap to success. And we're going to talk about each of these stages in depth. But as sort of a joke here, we're going to imagine that we're going to kind of do a parallel between human relationships and business relationships. So we all have to imagine here that we're single, and as business owners, this is kind of what we're doing. We are going straight for a conversion lots of times. If you think about what you post on social media, lots of times we're just going straight for the promo. We're going straight to selling people on, what we do, or what we what service offerings we have for people, what products offerings. And obviously this is a joke here with this meme of the crazy girlfriend that says, "So for our first date, I was thinking we could figure out the names for our children." Obviously that's a bit extreme, but this is the biggest problem that I see that business owners are doing, is they're just using these platforms. Social media is just saying, "Hey, look at what I do business with me." And unfortunately, we live in such a world today where there is so much noise that not only is, people aren't going to listen to this noise, especially if it's not value driven, but also we're really jumping ahead in a relationship. And so if we imagine ourselves again, if we're single, if we're looking for that intimate partner, the first thing we have to know is they have to know that we exist, right? That's the first thing. It would be weird if we just, jumped right to, "Hey, do you want to go on a date with me? Hey, do you want to get married?" Right? That's all sounds very odd and weird, but they have to first know that you exist. In business, someone has to first know that you exist. So this could mean a prospect sees you in an ad, finds you in search, hears about you via referral, right? Et cetera, et cetera. This is, they know you exist. Secondly, in a human relationship, an intimate relationship, you have to introduce yourself, right? You have to engage with that person. This is one of my, I found this Austin Powers meme and thought it was hilarious, so I had to add it in here. Engaging. Prospect reads a blog post, engages on social media, watches a video, etc. So, right, that this is a very small step forward in the relationship with you. And how do you get someone to engage with you? This is the big question. We're going to come back. Don't worry. We're going to come back to this stage. This is the biggest stage I think people struggle with. So I'm going to give you some exact strategies. We're actually going to take some time to make sure that you have ways to get people to engage with you. This is the most expensive piece. This is the most challenging piece, is what do I create so that people will start engaging with me on social? And we're going to dive into it. Don't worry. But right now we're going to get through the stages so you can kind of see the whole picture. Next, super important. They make too many love movies out of this, right? Is if you don't get the phone number, if you don't get the information, how are you ever going to find this person again, right? So of course you got to get the number. And in a business situation, this is where your prospect opts in, right? Whether they're giving you their email, you've seen this probably a lot online in terms of if you ever download an ebook or a checklist, a cheat sheet, a web app, or maybe it's a mini course, right? These are a few different examples, but there's a lot of ways to get someone's subscription, right? Maybe it's you're getting their information to join, to get a coupon code, right? Lots of ways, but the idea of getting them to subscribe early on is so that you can remarket with them. You can follow up with them. Conversion. Now, there's also some misconceptions about conversions. This is where, when when we get to conversion, we don't just go, "Hey, do you want to marry me?" Right? You start with something simple, something easy, right? Let's meet up and talk about our feelings over a cup of coffee, right? Obviously another joke, but something simple so you can get to know that person, right? You can begin to see if it's a good fit before we go on to everything else that happens, right? In a human relationship, that's pretty normal. In business, it really needs to be the same way. So what we talk about is conversion, and this is another piece that we're going to dive into in a little bit, but this is where a prospect makes a small purchase or schedules a demo with you, right? This is a free consultation. This is a taste tester, right? This is you providing a very low barrier to entry. So we all have these in business, as a chiropractor, Justin, I'm sure that you utilize a number of different, what we call entry point offers to get someone in the door at a low low cost so that they can get a good experience with you, right? And once they get to know you and your office and everything else, then they can continue to work with you and you can put them on the proper plan that fits them. But you wouldn't just, sell someone something that is, a big offer right off the bat. This is gonna, go for a lot of people. But what's something that can get someone in the door? This is why people use, happy hours or door busters or lots of things that like what's going to get someone in the door, because we know once they do, they're going to start spending more money. And I'll give some more examples of this as we go on, but I want to hone in that we call these entry point offers and what's going to get someone in the door, because the most expensive part, the hardest part of advertising and marketing and everything, as we all know, is getting someone in the door. Every business owner I know that is a good business owner and that truly cares about their customers knows that once they can get them in the door and give them a great experience, then they will be a customer forever. If you're providing a truly good service or have a truly good product, we know we can do the rest of the work. So that's why we are going to go through this entire 8-stage customer journey, just so you can be aware of it and you can have it. But then we're going to go back and we're really going to focus on this first half here. Contact us for a free consultation. Yep, Justin, that's exactly right. And when we get to this section about creating an offer, love to kind of help you brainstorm a few different ideas that I know work really well in the chiropractic space, just from experience. So the next thing is excitement, right? There has to be those sparks on that first coffee thing, right? We have to give actual value here. So when we do get someone to convert, the customer has to get actual value from that initial transaction, right? We have to actually, and we've all, if you can think for a second to yourself of a great experience you've had with a new business, right? The first time you were there, you had a wonderful experience and you were so excited and you couldn't wait to either spend more, do more, was because you actually got excited. So the whole point of the conversion is to get them excited, to make sure it's a good fit. The other great thing about this is it also makes sure that they are a good fit, because lots of times we all know that a client or a customer may not be a good fit, and this is their time and your time to figure that out, depending on the business that you're in. Now, once we have excitement, this is our time. This is the time where we get down on a knee here, right? Hypothetically speaking, this is where now someone has tried it. We'll use Justin use, for example, they've gone through your free consultation, or maybe it's a super low price investment or whatever it is that, and now they've felt really excited about it. And now is the time where we can send them. Maybe if we have a coffee shop, right? It's the first, you ask them, is this your first time in? Awesome. Hey, we'd love to give you this on us today. And you give them a great experience, and you can know you can bring them back over and over again. Then of course, we're going to go to, this is where we offer people our core offer and our upsells. So you can see before we get to that stage, we have quite a bit of work to do. And our ability to get people in the door, oops, if everyone can still hear me, I just want to make sure we're still with me. I got a little note that my internet connection isn't great. Anyone gives me a thumbs up in the chat, or just say that they
You're good. We can hear you.
Still hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
All is well.
Awesome. Core offer and upsells. So this is our ascension piece, our core offer, our upsells. This is where we make our money, right? This is where we service our clients to the highest level. This is, and it's all these steps building up that make this magic happen. And then of course, even after you get married, you have to, continue dating, as they say. I wouldn't know yet. I'm getting married in September, so I assume that this is what I'm going to be doing. Anybody who is married here then probably knows that, you have to keep doing a good job, and you have to keep doing a great job for your customers as well. And this is, where you do such a great job that you're looking for customers to get a testimonial, to get case studies, right? This is a huge part of your customer journey, because ultimately this ends up becoming a cycle here, right? That these people that are advocates and ultimately promoting you will bring more awareness and bring people down this funnel again. And obviously this analogy breaks down a little bit here depending on your affiliation here, no judgment at all. But with the marriage piece, it does break down just a little bit. This is where they tell a friend, they're talking to people, they're saying, I had such a great experience, you got to go check these guys out, right? This is what we're ultimately looking for. And to get to this stage, we have to do this in sections. We have to take people through a journey together to get them to this point. So you will have this all filled out. I'm sure you're taking notes, which is great, but you're going to get a downloaded PDF with all of these filled out so you can remember all of these things. And what we're going to do is we're going to start to fill this out for you, for your business right now. When you have this, you will notice that this is what's going to help your business grow a lot. Once you can nail down a couple things, most of the time it's your engagement piece and your offer.
Dallas, you still there?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is everyone still there?
Yeah, we lost somebody, it seems like, but well, we lost your presentation. That's what happened.
We lost the presentation. All right, we'll bring that back up right here.
I think
How
everybody's
about,
still on.
I apologize, everybody.
Technical difficulties, aren't they wonderful?
All right, there we go. How about now? Can everyone see it now?
There we go. You just need to expand it to the full screen. Shoot.
Beautiful. And
good job.
We're still recording. We're good to go.
Yep,
okay.
And I'm going to mute myself again.
So we have, and I'm going to pull my chat button up. Okay. All right. So we have our customer value journey. We're going to start filling this out together. And we're going to dive into this engagement section. And this is kind of really interesting to me. This is a stat pulled from Spencer Spinell, who was the director of emerging platforms at Google. It said 97% of purchasing decisions are starting on the internet. I think we can probably all agree with that no matter what we're doing, we're starting with a Google search somewhere. We're starting with some sort of research on social media or whatnot, right? Well, if that is the case, if we're starting our customer journey, right, our purchasing decisions, if we're starting our customer journey on the internet, that means that as business owners, we should be the resources there, right? We should be the resources for people. I'm going to give you a few examples, and all of a sudden you're going to maybe hopefully have an aha moment here. But I want you to think, we're going to take a pause for 5 minutes in just a second after I explain this to think of 2 ideas for content to engage your prospects. And I'm also going to take some questions during this time so we can brainstorm together. Again, I want you to come away feeling we have few enough people in this this webinar here that we will be able to, I think, definitely come up with some ideas. So number 1, I want you to think of your most frequently asked questions. What are people always asking? What are your prospects asking you? What are your customers asking you? If they're asking you these questions, it means they're looking for answers. And lots of times they could find these answers in terms of content on your website. We'll talk about what that means. Go ahead and use Google. Like, see maybe what, if you Google your business or you Google something similar, you'll notice at the bottom that it gives you some things other people are searching, right? Similar search queries. This is going to give you some ideas of what people are looking for, right, with your business. The next thing is check out industry leaders. I love to see what some of the larger companies are doing. I love following software companies because they're pretty leading edge in this. What are the kind of the big guys doing? What kind of content are they creating for folks? And then another one that Kim helped add to this was think of questions you wish your customers would ask you more. We all have those things that we can't wait to tell our customers. What do we wish they were asking us? And I'm going to show you some simple examples here. So here's an article that we created for a jewelry store who is looking for more engagement purchases, right? More engagement customers, because they know once they get them in at the engagement point, right? If we can get the engagement ring, we know we can get the wedding bands and the anniversaries and the Christmas presents and the Valentine's Day. So what we did is we actually created an article that said 7 things you need to know before you purchase an engagement ring. And again, personally knowing I've been in this space as someone who's looking to purchase an engagement ring, it's a scary thing. It's a large purchase. There's a lot of information that we should know. And we, there's just so much there. So why not create the article for these folks? And we'll show why this is so important, because you can see here, we use this on social media and it got a ton of traction, and we were able to do some really amazing things with this, which we'll show you in a minute. But think about the 7 things you need to know before you purchase an engagement ring. Who's going to click on that? Someone who, is in business for an engagement ring, right? Oh, let's see here. Is everybody still with me? I look like I got some frozen. Okay, we're good. All right, I'm gonna make sure I don't have the chat pulled up here. If you would give me a hot second, I am going to pull up the chat. Okay. So here's the next example. So then we followed up with the next thing is, hey, here's a $250 gift card towards your engagement ring purchase, right? This was our offer. So if you remember, we talked about the conversion and the engagement. Here's their engagement. This is the
Oops. Okay, we've lost your presentation again, Dallas. And I can't hear you.
We're back. I apologize, everybody.
Having bad internet day.
I don't know what it is. Usually it's pretty good here.
Well, always at the
I'm so
time
sorry,
when we are
everybody.
needing it the most, right? Is when it seems to fail the most. So, okay, I see it again.
Okay. I'm gonna make sure we got the chat here. Just a second.
And I am keeping an eye on the chat too for you. So,
Okay. Beautiful.
So if you don't want to bring that up, if that's what's causing the issue, I can take care of that for you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we can see the plan of action here. We get a piece of content that is engaging, right? Something that's valuable to the prospect or the potential consumer. And then we follow up with our offer, taking them through this experience. Here's another example for this is actually a periodontist, and they were looking to get people who needed more dental procedures, right? Or people that wanted to kind of fix their teeth. And so we created an article that says this breakthrough dental procedure helps replace missing teeth permanently. You can see the copy up top that says, here's the best way to restore your look of your smile permanently, right? If I'm looking to restore my smile, I'm probably going to click on this, right? And this isn't fluff. We provide really good information in this. And guess what? At the bottom, we have sign up for a consultation, right? We have our call to action. We have our next step in the journey prepared and ready to go. One final one here is, here's a product focused one for anybody who has products. This is a water company, a local water company. We create an article that says, here are 5 reasons why you need to be drinking the good stuff, right? 5 health benefits of alkaline water. They click on this article, and then the next thing they see was an offer for, I think, free shipping, right? Here's an example of a quiz, right? This company sells Idaho gear. So we created a quiz to see if you're a true Idahoan, causing people to become engaged. So we are going to think of really quickly, we're going to for an offer to convert your prospects. So the offer, and we were looking for that to be congruent with your engagement piece, just like you saw in the examples. This offer should excite your prospect. allow for seamless upsell and lead into your core offer, and should be a low barrier to entry. So we're gonna take about a 5-minute pause here before we get into the next section. I'm gonna open up the chat here too, so if we have questions. But at least let's think for just a minute, write down some ideas. I'm gonna see if I can, while we're doing this pause, I'm gonna see if I can get my internet moving a little quicker, close out a few things. So we're gonna take 2 minutes here, start thinking, and then I'm gonna start asking for some questions. So you can actually fill up the chat with your questions now, and we can start addressing those. Does that sound cool, everybody?
That works.
All right. There we go. All right, I've closed out some windows here, closed down a few little things. Hopefully we get some speed in here. All right, let me see, and this is the weirdest thing. It is not showing my chat. Try to pull it up here.
We haven't had any questions, but if anybody has any questions, now's the time to chat those over.
There we go. I got some chat here. Yeah, so.
Oh, did they chat directly to you? Okay, great.
No, I didn't see any yet, but I got everyone. If you want to ask them directly, I want to pull up a few ideas here. If there's anything else we can do, because I really want to stress, if anyone has any questions right now about, they're like, maybe I need an idea, or you have an idea you want to talk through. We teach so many people how to use Facebook and Facebook ads, and we do this for so many clients. And these two pieces are the key ingredients. The key ingredients. If we have a good engagement piece, right, something that's going to get people engaged with us, and we have a great offer, this is how these businesses are growing. And I'm going to show you a few more examples of what this does in just a little bit. But this doesn't have to be an article like we showed you. It could be a video. It can be something just that is value for your clients here. Let's see here. Anybody in the chat want to use an example? Justin, do you mind if I use you as an example, and your free consultation? I'll wait for you to say yes in the chat before I do it, because I have some thoughts and examples that would like to run through, if that's cool. Justin's still around?
He
Kim,
said
do you
yes.
see anything from Justin?
Yep, he said yes.
He said yes?
Yep, sure did.
Oh, please do. Okay, cool. Thanks, Justin. Appreciate you. So this is one of the things that happens, with, I like to, okay, what to look for in a chiropractor, questions to act on your first visit. This is a great piece of content. I would definitely, especially if there's a lot of misconceptions here, and I would even dig in, not to get too deep into certain things, but copywriting, where we're saying, common misconceptions of a chiropractor. Because if you're saying questions to ask your chiropractor, it must mean that there's some things that you wish people asked you. And the other thing is if you think about, you solve a lot of pain points, to actually physically pain points in people, obviously, and maybe you have certain types of clients that you're looking for at certain times, and you may be able to provide a little bit of information that you might provide in your free consults. You probably see a lot of this around, where you can and lots of times for chiropractors, it's really great to do videos because you can, if I see these quite often, but you can, showcase how if someone's having a certain problem, this is why they're having it, and help them understand that. And you can then bring them to the next level. So, what to look for in a chiropractor. The only thing I love the idea, I would just kind of see if we can adjust that, like common misconceptions with chiropractors, or things to make sure you ask your chiropractor, right? Or things to look out for, so that people, we have sort of an engaging concept here. So when we use the example, which I still have my screen up, I guess I can show, 7 things you need to know before purchasing an engagement ring, or 7 things you need to consider, adding a little bit of urgency there. The next thing I will say, Justin, is a lot of people use this idea of a free consultation. And I think that one of the best things that we can do is package that up a little bit. Make it an offer that is maybe interesting. It doesn't even have to be a free consultation. It could just be a really low entry price point where you kind of not only name it something awesome, but you give someone an incredible amount of value in those first 30 minutes. You can call it, an initial, an initial adjustment plus plan. And I know a lot of chiropractors and medical folks will give plans available for people. Here's an example that we use in the wedding industry. We have a lot of people giving free consultations in the wedding industry. But yeah, so here we go. A $99 initial consult, exam, and x-rays. That is a great value, right? That's incredible value. And that, it's be incredibly beginning. And I want everyone to see this example is like, Justin, I'm sure you can tell everybody that $99 initial consult, including x-rays, is not going to be profitable for you probably. And I want everyone to kind of see that. No, it's not profitable, right? And dentists will do the same, a similar idea. But the idea here, and everyone else can kind of take note here from Justin, is that what I'm sure, Justin, and I can't talk to you or see, but what I'm assuming is that once you give someone that great experience, they will be coming back, and you will hopefully get a great lifelong customer out of them, right? So this is something that you can utilize in your offer. So if someone read an article about questions to ask your chiropractor on a first visit, or how to fix, this certain type of neck pain, or, all these different engagement things, within that article, at the end of that video, you're constantly saying, we have this $99 initial consult and exam. The lower you can make that barrier to entry, the better. I've seen people, we obviously want people to have some skin in the game and make sure we're not just getting a ton of tire kickers. But I think a lot of things people are afraid of is giving away too much at too low of a cost, because they think people are going to get stuck on it. But that's actually generally not the case. I saw we have is a counseling in here as well.
Yes.
The more value we can give up front, the better, because we can then find out from them if they're going to be a good fit for us and move forward. And then in any case that, we are getting too many tire kickers, we can always adjust our offer. So if your big problem is not getting people in the door, depending on where you're at with your business, if you're looking for a lot of business customers, open up your offer, make it very, very strong. One of my favorite customer journeys that I've ever experienced, and I'll use this as an example, is I was traveling, I think I was in Belize, and I was, looking to go scuba diving. Ultimately was our goal in Belize, but first we just needed we were looking to go paddle boarding, and we're looking around town to go paddle boarding, and someone tells us, hey, there's this, restaurant up the road here that actually offers free paddle boards and kayaks. And we said, wow, that's quite the deal. Everyone else is renting these things for like $30 an hour. So of course we went up there, we tried out their kayaks, we came back, we had a beer, we had lunch. which was genius. The place was packed. It wasn't even close to the center of town or anything. It was in a weird location, but the place was packed. And sure enough, the bartender and the server that we were working with said, yeah, what are you guys doing? What are you looking to do? And, you know, we said, oh, we're looking to go scuba diving. And they're like, oh, well, we actually have a dive shop. We're connecting. We have a dive. And we're doing some diving tomorrow. Have you guys found a place yet? And we said, no. Well, we signed up right there and then for a 3-tank dive, which, you know, I think was in the range of $300 a person. And turns out they had a fishing boat there too, as well. When we showed up the next day to go diving, most of the people at the bar that were there eating were either on that fishing boat or in our dive boat as well. And they just went from free paddle boards to nearly $1,000 in sales from us, because they started out. They knew that they weren't going to make money on those paddle boards, even though everybody else, all the other, you know, restaurants on the ocean were, you know, selling these and renting them. They brought us in because they knew the hardest part is getting people in the door. And once you can get them in the door, so that's the overall message here that I want to share is what can you do to get people in the door? All right. Thank you, Justin, for letting me use you. And we're going to answer more questions here at the end. I really want to open it up, and we can even unmute some folks here to get going.
So, Dallas, I'm sorry. I have somebody private chatted me, and I thought it might be kind of interesting. So, for somebody who doesn't have a very large Facebook presence, what are some things, or do you have a slide for that later on to address, to kind of talk about building your audience and that kind of stuff?
Oh no.
What's wrong? I can hear you, sort of. Dallas? I kind of feel like it'd be funnier if his name was Houston, because then we could say, Houston, we have a problem.
Okay, Cam, I'm sorry. I got half your question. I'm so sorry, everybody.
That's okay.
We generally have great Wi-Fi here.
It's always been great before. So my question was, is that if a business doesn't have a very large Facebook presence at all, you know, they're kind of just starting out.
Yes.
Do you have audience builder tips and that kind of stuff? So.
Yes, and I'm going to jump into that. That's a great segue.
Oh, great.
The biggest thing you can do on Facebook, if you're just posting to post, you know, unfortunately, no one cares about the office dog as much as you hope they do. And if you're just starting out, you could waste a lot of time just posting things to post things. You definitely want to post pertinent updates, right? Things that are going to matter to your customers. But our customers are inherently selfish, as we are as individuals and human beings. And there's so much noise on the internet today that what we are posting, and when we're building an audience, it needs to be super relevant. And if we're just getting started in this, and it depends on the size of our business. If we actually have some customers already, then I think it's a good time to really focus on, you know, trying to get likes on your Facebook page and things like that. But if you're just getting started, really focus on that value that we talked about, because when you're posting and you want to build an audience, it's going to be about providing actual value, things that people come away from being, oh, that was helpful. And once you have this type of content, this next section that we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about exactly how to get that content in front of the right people, which is going to be all the targeting piece. So this is perfect segue. Thank you, Kim. We're going to dive into using data to drive results. Everything that we're going to talk about right now, this is a link right here to business.facebook.com. This is where the actual magic of Facebook happens. I'm going to open, oh, there's my chat there. That's a little tricky for a counselor because of HIPAA. Okay, cool. let's talk a little bit about counselor stuff moving forward, because I have some ideas. We'll talk about it after this next section. Everything we're talking about right now is at business.facebook.com. This is a link here. When you get the PDF after this, you're going to be able to click through this, and we're going to dive into a few different things. Now let's talk about the power of these systems. And I'm going to get pretty passionate here because this is, what we're so serious about. If anybody didn't know, if you have, let's say you have 1,000 likes on Facebook, right? 1,000 likes on Facebook. Facebook, if you organically, when we use the words organic, this means putting no money behind your post, no boosting, just posting on your Facebook page. And I'm talking about a business Facebook page. This also goes for a business Instagram profile. Facebook is going to only show your post to anywhere between 1 and 20%. 20% is going to be really high of those 1,000 people. So that is not very many. And you can work really hard to get all those likes. Believe me, those ones that I showed you in the beginning, those 18,000, we worked really hard for those. And then to be able to post every time and maybe only a couple hundred people see our post, that's a real kick in the shorts, I'll tell you, because and Instagram's the same way. They're constantly squeezing and decreasing the amount of people that actually see your posts. So the only way to increase that is paying, number one, which we'll talk about. And we'll actually talk about the value of that. I'm not against that. I'm actually very much so for that. Even on a tight budget, I would say I would take budget out as other places to just even spend $1 or $2 a day towards some of these platforms. But the real money, the real value of Facebook and Instagram and Google and Pinterest and LinkedIn and all these platforms is their ability to take this data and give it to business owners, marketers, advertisers like us to serve up relevant content to people. We're going to use Facebook as the example right now because this is our whole idea, but and just know that a lot of platforms are using this. They're taking into account 2,000 data points about you as you're using the platform. This is Facebook and Instagram. Obviously, Facebook owns Instagram. They own Instagram. They own WhatsApp. They're taking into account 2,000 data points about you. And you may say, "Hey, I'm not a Facebook user. I have an account, but I never get on it." Well, they're actually taking into account your behavior across the internet at large, not just when you're on Facebook or when you're on Instagram. They're knowing what kind of websites what kind of blogs you're reading, kind of videos, the type of shopper that you are. Are you a tire kicker? Or are you pulling triggers? Do you have a shopping problem online? Have you shopped in the last 7 days? Are you using a MasterCard, Discover, Visa card to purchase? Like, there's a lot of data out here. And I'm not here to get into the discussion about, whether this is a good or bad thing. This is just the reality of it. And the thing that just to know is they're not sharing any of your personal data. So, and they won't give you more than a group of 100 people. So if they're targeting you, you're in a group of at least 100 other people. Your name's never given, your email's never given, your data's not given, just your user account ID. So the ads that you may see. I know people always joke, I was just talking about this thing and now I'm seeing ads about it. I've dug very deep into their policies to see if they're using microphones to say things. I don't think everyone thinks there's like some person listening on the other end. I personally believe that they may be searching for keywords, but nonetheless, you'll notice things that are relevant in your feed if you are a user. Contrary to popular belief, most people actually appreciate this. They appreciate seeing advertisements for stuff that they actually care about and things that actually matter to them. This is why I say putting relevant content in front of someone makes all the difference in the world, right? With those examples that we showed of 7 things we need to know about before we purchase an engagement ring, we're actually able to target people who are in a relationship, but not yet engaged and not yet married, that live within a 5-mile radius of a jewelry store, right? This is a type of data. I joke, this is my kind of joke. I said this in a presentation once, and then I went to actually see if I could actually target this person. So I had joked that I could actually target a soccer mom who shops online, who has a German Shepherd and shops at Whole Foods. And I actually typed that behavior into Facebook, you're actually looking at Facebook Ads Manager, the back end of Facebook that you will find through setting up your Facebook Business Manager right here. And I can see engaged shopper means they shopped in the last 7 days. They're, soccer mom, or they're showing behaviors or interests of a soccer mom. They're showing interest in German Shepherds and Whole Foods Market. And we have 99,000 of them in the US. So this is called interest-based targeting. This is our ability to take things, especially if no matter what you are, if you have a coffee shop or if you're a counselor, these people have different interests, and you'll notice patterns within your customers that they maybe have certain interests, or they're maybe doing certain research about something so that they can solve their problems, right? And we can actually look up what they might be interested in. So here is another one. People want to kind of know about Boise. If you have a local business and you're looking to take in some of these new people that are moving to Boise, I don't know if anybody's in that boat here. This was a screenshot from a little while ago, but we can actually see people who have told Facebook that they recently moved. 2,700 people within a 50-mile radius, right? So these are 2,700 brand new people. That's all these people are. These are people that have now changed their, lives in, if you've ever looked at a Facebook profile, to Boise recently in the last 6 months. So this isn't everybody that's moved, but these are the people that told Facebook they moved. And for $10 a day, I can reach 440 to 1,200 of them. So if we want to talk about building an audience, we could spend $10 over a few days and put really good content in front of these new people. If they're moving to town and they need a chiropractor, if they're moving to town and they need a dentist, if they're moving to town and they need a new counselor, or you can see a radius here. If I run a coffee shop, I can actually type in my address of my local business right here and target everyone that lives within a mile of me, or 2 miles, or 3 miles. And now I can spend a very little amount of money, as low as $1 a day. It's typically how you buy some of these budgets is $1 a day. And I can put that content in front of people, and that is going to build our audience. That is going to drive our traffic. All right, give me in the chat here, tell me you're with me still and you're following. And if your wheels are turning, let me see here in the chat, just so I can know everybody's here and rocking and with you. Okay, awesome. If you want to shout out your business again, and just let me know if we hit something and you have an idea, and stop me, let me know. But hopefully you're getting some ideas here. The key is, I'm going to make a big statement here. Facebook whole algorithm, the reason they are in business, contrary to probably popular belief, is to provide content to its users that they actually care about. So we have a very curated feed. Everything that we see on our phones, again, I just remembered I'm not on camera, so I'm holding my phone up to my camera, but you guys can't see that. So the idea is that everything that we see, on our phones, in our feeds in Facebook, is curated for us to like it. Facebook knows that's why they're in business. They have over 1 billion users, and it's because they give them stuff that they want to see. They don't want to see a bunch of irrelevant things in their feed. They don't want to see things that they don't care about, but they do want to see things that solve their problems or that are relevant to them. So William, with Airbnb, one of the selections that you can do here is you can see people who are recently traveling in this area. So if they're frequent travelers, you can target them. If they're businesses or other maybe people that are booking Airbnbs, you can target people that are recently or just right now traveling in the area. So if they're frequent travelers and they come back, you can target them. So this is interest-based targeting. Go ahead and go to business.facebook.com. We'll talk about a few more things here. I'll even dive into the platform in just a minute. But as I continue on things in front of other people, we as businesses are fighting for real estate, right? That news feed on their phone is real estate, and it's hot real estate. And so Facebook will reward you as a business and as an advertiser to put relevant things in their feed. If you put a really relevant ad in someone's feed that people are clicking on a lot and engaging with, Facebook's going to say, oh, this is really great. We're going to show it to more people and give you a better price. So if we're thinking about anything here, it's going back to that customer journey and stop thinking about us and stop thinking about us trying to make money and start thinking about how we can provide actual value that solves our customers' problems or provides good information or good entertainment or value to them. And as a small business, if we can't compete with a lot of these big production companies, then we just either write articles or make very straightforward videos or make them relevant to the Treasure Valley in general, right? For local people. They're going to click on us. So the idea is here, let's think about our customers, let's provide good content, and then finding them is very, very simple. Very simple. Now I'm going to talk about the kind of crazier piece. So if we thought that data points were crazy and you thought it was creepy, we're just getting started. So we're going to talk a few things. These are called custom audiences. Again, it says screen sharing at the bottom, but at the bottom of this slide, we actually have a link to custom audiences and more information on how to set these up. So about the details, those are all in the link, but this is what the number one way we make money for our clients. Especially, this is if you have a business right now or a website that actually has website traffic, or you have a business that actually has customers, or you have an email list. This is what you can do. You can take your customer files, right? Let's say you have a list of customers. You can organize them in terms of either if you have different customer segments, you want to organize them that way. But if you have a customer that you want to go find more of this person, you can take that, put it in a CSV, right, a spreadsheet, and they're looking for 2 data points. It's an email address and a phone number. And you can upload that data list up to Facebook, and you can say, hey, Facebook, go find me 1 million more people just like this. Go find me more people that look like these people. And what they're doing is they're taking that email address or the phone number, because that email address and phone number is connected to a user account or an ID. And they're looking at those people's 2,000 behaviors and tendencies, and they're identifying what's similar in them, and they're going to find more people with those similar behaviors. The next thing you can do is the same thing with website traffic. So you can create an audience of people that have visited your website, right? If you know you want to find more people like that, you can say, hey, Facebook, go find more of these people. Or I could target those people directly. I can actually just target the people, which we're going to talk about in the next section. I can target the people that are visiting my website right now to get them to take action. I can also target people who have engaged with me. So if I have my Instagram profile, my Facebook profile, I can target people who have watched my videos or liked my posts or shared my posts. I can create articles. I can target those people specifically again, or I can go find more people that look like those people. These are called custom audiences, and this is data that you have access to. So if you have a website with traffic at all, basically with people visiting it, that's super valuable. That's super valuable data that you have available to you. If you have customer files, this is the most valuable. If you already have customers as a business, this is so valuable. This is all data you have access to, and we can say, hey, Facebook, imagine, we have this article that we've created, and we just say, hey, Facebook, go put this in front of all these people, right? This is how you are going to really grow your audiences. This is what we talked about, that lookalike audiences. It's a pretty basic name. Hey, Facebook, go find me more people that look like my customers or look like the people on my website. This is how you create it. This is actually how you set that up. There's a link again at the bottom of this slide for you to learn the details on how to do that. So again, I just want to give you as much stuff for you to kind of run away with after this so you can get started here. So again, I want to show you how much of a serious thing this is. We uploaded a client's customer list. This is pretty much all we did. We did something very similar. We said, hey, here's this client. I said, I need a list of your customers in terms of your highest lifetime value. So your best customers, the ones that have spent the most with you, the ones those customers that we all want, right? The best ones. And I'm going to order those from the best all the way down to the lowest one. And I took the top 20% because they had a decent sized customer list. I took his top 20% of customers and we upload those into Facebook. I said, Facebook, go find me 1 million more people. This is actually another nonprofit that sells a product online and takes donations. And we wanted to find more donors, right? More people that look like these people. And you can see here, we got 11.5x return in 6 months. And you don't have to be spending this kind of money. I realize that this might be a large budget for a lot of people over 6 months, but we're seeing clients do the same thing on even much smaller budgets, right? You can start this out with $2 a day, $5 a day, $10 a day, and you can start scaling it up as you start making more money, right? This is the idea here. So here's another client. We did the same exact thing. They were a client that was looking to, they actually had some data available to them. They were not utilizing that data to sell online, and they weren't using Facebook to focus. So this exact same strategy that we just talked about, the customer journey, we found the customer journey, we found the engagement piece, we found the offer, and then we said, hey, Facebook, go find us more people that look like these website visitors, right? And you can see October revenue here of $3,088 and April revenue of $31,000. And the only thing that changed is doing this over time. And we're actually, I just looked on it before we got off, we're on track to kind of keep this going up this way. The concept here is very simple. And obviously there's some more pieces that are in depth to this. I'm not just trying to say like this is a magic bullet, but I'm telling you, we've done, we spent millions of dollars online. The magic bullets are, I'm going to go back to them right here. Engagement. If we have an offer that we know converts, something that we know brings people in the door, that's really exciting. If we know we have something to engage someone with, and we use this data and we use similar, the structure here, this is simply what we're doing. And now we're testing a lot of things, and we're trying, but the difference that we're doing, most people do, is they just try something and say, Facebook didn't work for me. Well, they're not trying enough things. They're not putting things out there, not putting in the effort to create content. They're not putting in the time to do the things that, that's providing value to the customers. And that's the big difference here that we're seeing with these clients, is because we're putting in this time to be able to do this, or the client is working with us to put in the time to create the content, etc. So another time for questions if we have some questions, but the question I have for you is, what data do you have that you are not utilizing? Are you utilizing the people that are on your website? Do you have website traffic? Do you have any email lists? Do you have anybody that's engaged with you on Facebook or Instagram? This is all data that you have available to you. And good news, if you don't have that data, we talked about this. We talked about finding those people and identifying them. If you're a brand new business, we can start thinking about who our customers are and start finding them and targeting them, right? Your donor list. Cassie, you have a donor list. Donor lists are amazing. This is literally what we did on this one, is this donor list. Cassie, take your donor list and segment them. Lots of times we have different types of donors. So if you're looking for a certain donor, depending on how big your list is, that's the biggest one. This is really the most valuable thing, is a customer list or a donor list. So, all right, if you're still with me here, just keep showing some love in the comments so I know that I'm not talking to myself and offline again, because that's been the worst today. I'm so sorry. All right, we are rounding third base here, everybody. We're rounding third. I appreciate everyone hanging in with me here for this whole thing. We are running into the home stretch about how following up can change your business. This is the last thing. I really want everyone to be able to take some of this and utilize this and make some revenue and serve their customers at the highest level when we're done. So this hopefully will be the valuable. And I just busted the answer to my question. I was just going to ask you, on average, how many times does it take to follow up with a customer before a sale is made? There's a very general number, and I believe I got this from a large sales trainer, and so I don't have the source cited here, but it is 7 to 12 follow-ups. 7 to 12 follow-ups. A lot of us here seem to be in a business where we can follow up with our clients, our customers, right? If you get a lead, if someone gets a lead or you get someone's information, how many times are you following up with them? How many times? And we're not talking about, and a lot of people think sales is kind of pesky and annoying, but there's a proper way to do this, and it's with value, right? And this is again where these articles come in. If you have a really valuable article, you feel great. Hey, we just came out with this. I thought you might find it valuable. Here you go. Send it to them via email. Give them a call. If you are not following up with all of your leads, at least my big one for people that are not doing these, aren't a big salesperson or someone that feels comfortable with this, is at least 3 times, at least 3, really 5 times and to 7 times following up. So if you have customers right now or leads right now, especially with the state of the world, find a way to follow up with them. Use this kind of customer journey and this content to kind of re-engage them and say, hey, we're working on this. One of my favorite things to do to re-engage leads with our clients is have them help you make the content. Reach out to your leads and say, hey, I'm working on this piece of content to help provide. What do you think is the most valuable thing to you about this subject, right? If you're a counselor, there's obviously some things that help people, make breakthroughs, right? Or something that they find a lot of value in. And sometimes those things can be simple and you don't have to give out anybody's information, but you might be able to talk to your current clients and say, what are these things? We want to help more people, as on this little level here, can make a massive difference. So that's kind of the sales side of following up. I know we're talking about marketing here, so we're going to talk about the marketing side right now, but this is an interesting statistic as well. When a prospect sees a retargeting ad, there's a 70% chance that they'll purchase your product over your competitors. We have all been chased around the internet by things that we probably shouldn't be buying, right? Things that we don't need, but we really want. It's very common. This is called retargeting. Retargeting, it's a very common concept, and it's actually much simpler to do than you might imagine. It takes, for Facebook retargeting, which is the primary one I think we see the most return from, it takes this little tool. It's called the Pixel. And I actually have you'll see it here, how to set up your Facebook pixel on your website. This is step by step, no matter if you're on WordPress, you're on Squarespace, you're on Wix, or Shopify, WooCommerce, right? Whatever you're on, a Facebook pixel is basically a cookie. This is what's tracking you. This is what you put in your website to track the folks and track their data. Again, you're not tracking individuals. You don't know that John came to your website, or Justin or Cassie or William. We don't know that. We don't know their information. We just know that someone did. And then when they come to our website, this allows us to see what their interests are and things like that, and be able to retarget them. So when they come to your website, Justin, if they came to your site and they were checking you out, and I'm sure they were checking you out alongside a number of other chiropractors, if the next thing they saw in their Instagram feed or their Facebook feed was, hey, try our $99 adjustment. Right now it's only $49, right? Our entry-level adjustment. And here's the details. Contact us or get your, enter your information here and we'll call you however you decide to do it. The chances of them going with you over the competitors that they just researched are so much higher, so much higher. And all you do is you set up your pixel on your website like this, and you go back to this section that we just talked about, which was these custom audiences, and you create a list of people who visit your website, and you can just target those people and say, hey, come back, right? I'm sorry, what exactly is a pixel, Cassie? So a pixel is a little piece of code. You may know them as a cookie. It's a little piece of code that goes in your website, and this piece of code tracks people that it's connecting that user, that Facebook user, with their user ID. So Cassie, if I check out your website, and then you have it set up so the next time I go on Facebook, you can be able to send me more information about what you have going on. Maybe it's different campaigns that you're running or things like that. So a pixel is a little piece of code, and it's actually very simple and straightforward to set up if you can follow the directions. On your website, if you're using a WordPress or a Squarespace or a Wix or whatever you're using, there's directions here. Or if you use a web developer, you can send this to them and you set it up. Pretty much any website now is set up very easily to take on the Facebook pixel. It's actually, even if you're a little bit tech adverse, it's something that you can figure out, especially through these steps that we have here. So here's a few examples, of campaigns that we. Here's a gym, gym that I go to and love, Jack City Fitness. For people that have visited some of the pages on their website, right? The next thing we see is, we don't know our trial offer, and it says, it looks like you might be interested in trying Jack City for free, but you didn't pull the trigger. Okay, sorry, my web, it went unstable, but perfect, Cassie, you got a web person. She will know. Just send her a link to this, and or actually go through the link yourself and help get it set up, and she'll be able to help you. Now, this one says, we want to answer any questions you might have. So it just says send a message, and guess what? It starts a conversation with the prospect right there. You didn't buy, so why don't you, or you've been on our website, do you have any questions? Right, simple enough. The next one here, Vivid Roots, shameless plug. This was something that we did, right? If you're in the nonprofit space, maybe you can understand, but one of the things we support is clean water. So one of the things that we need to do is build a little bit more depth, tell our story a little bit more to our consumers, right? And so if they went to our website, the next thing they see, or if they've engaged with us on social media, that's how we set it up. So maybe you engaged with us, you liked our Instagram post, or you went to our website, the next thing you see in your feed is this video that says women and children around the globe on average walk 3.5 miles per day to collect water. By providing clean water, we are giving time back to people that can be spent going to school, starting businesses, etc. And this is a short video about walking for water, so they can get a feel of what we stand for, of what we're about, to bring them down our customer value journey. A final one, this is for sales, right? If we have promotions, this is a great one. Here's a client that we have out of South Dakota that does zipline tours. Hurry, book your zipline tour right now. We only do 8 tours each day, and they fill up fast, right? A little bit of urgency, and people go crazy. And so if you've looked at our zipline tour on the internet, right? If you looked at that, guess what you're going to see next? You're going to see this guy right here, and it makes sales like crazy. So these, beyond following up with your leads, which you should definitely be doing, you should definitely be following up with people that visit your website, because I want you to think about this idea. Typically, a conversion rate on a website is somewhere between maybe 1% and on a really high end, maybe 4%. When I say conversion rate, I mean that they take the desired action that you want them to take. If you're a business that's looking for free consultations, that means that 1 to 4% of people, if 100 people go to your website, maybe 1% actually reaches out to you, or one person, right? Or possibly up to 4. If you're selling things online, that means that 1% of 1 person out of 100 will purchase something or make a donation. What happens to the other 90%, right? 99%. They're still around, they're still interested. The key is following up. And this is, we talk about noise and we talk about all these things. The key is following up with people and continuing to build that relationship digitally. How do you see who's looking at your website? So we can't see the individual people. This is a really great question. We can't see individuals, but if we put this Facebook pixel in, it will tell us, how many people are visiting our websites. The other thing that I'd really recommend setting up on your website and looking into is Google Analytics. So this will help you see how many people are visiting your website, depending on the web platform that you're using. Petra, what web platform are you using? Maybe WordPress, Squarespace. Do you have a website? Okay, Weebly. We have a client with Weebly. So Weebly should have some analytics there to show you how many people are visiting your website. And then you kind of, Cassie, Weebly, yep, we have clients with Weebly. So Weebly's gonna have its analytics built in as well, and you're gonna be able to see how many people are visiting each month. And then sometimes you're gonna have to do a little math on your own to then look, okay, how many people this month actually took the desired action on our website? Facebook's gonna, when you put this pixel in, if you have 100 people visiting your website every month, Facebook's gonna be able to track most of those people because 90% of people have a Facebook profile. So it's gonna be able to track most of them. And you're gonna be able to utilize that and create these retargeting pieces of content that way. Hopefully that helps a little bit. We can dive into this and we can unmute some people here. I'm about to take some Q&A as we kind of cross home here. Few examples. Well, I want to tell you again, this is no joke. We had a client, a B2B client, selling some things. This is the example of a Facebook pixel. They weren't using a Facebook pixel. They were not following up with people. 64x return because they just weren't following up. They had all these people coming, right? If someone comes, if you had a physical shop, if you have a physical shop and you know, you had all these people walk in and you had the chance to follow up with those people, wouldn't you follow up with them? It's crazy, right? So this is an example here. William, I see your question. I'm gonna answer that just right after this. Another one, I'm not gonna dive into this, but this is using email automation. This is a little bit deeper than what we're talking about today. I'm happy to answer more questions about this, and Kim's gonna give you my email so we can answer. But a client losing almost $1 million from not following up properly via email. So this is a larger retailer. And you can see here tracked revenue moving from $198,000 a month to $248,000 a month just by following up with prospects via email. Here's a few screenshots in here to actually track the revenue that you can see the difference in. So I'm not going to dive too much into that. But the big question I have is, what's the cost of you not following up? And the question from William is there a way to have my Airbnb guests to get discounts at places like the zip line? Local zip lines, I'm not sure. That would probably just be a conversation calling up the zip line company to see if they have any offers for you or partnerships. So that's a good question. I can call my client and if you're interested, you can send me an email and I can let them know to see if they work with Airbnb. They're in South Dakota, but I'm sure if you're Airbnb here in Idaho, maybe there's something similar going on. So yeah, we crossed it. I'm gonna take it up for, we can unmute people here for a few minutes, but I'm sure everyone maybe feels a little bit like this. If you feel a little bit like this, go ahead and type me in the chat. See if type me in the chat if you feel a little bit like you're sucking water through a fire hose. A little bit. Okay. No worries. I designed this presentation to, you know, hopefully expand your mind, and that's probably why you feel a little bit like you are sucking water through a fire hose. But I wanted to expand your mind because this, William, thanks for coming so much, man. We'll get the deck to you from Kim and everything. So thanks for coming through, man. Here is my final message here. Final message, and then you can quit listening to me yak at you. But I think this is most important. There's a lot of things, a lot of misconceptions. Hopefully we kind of helped you realize the true potential. But the way that I want to like kind of use a little example, a little story here, because this is the biggest thing. If you come away with anything from this presentation, if this is you, right? This is you, this is us. I'm imagining this is ourselves, this funny little stick figure right here. We're on this mountain, and really what we're trying to do is there is our proverbial pot of gold, right? On the other side. On the other side, and you can see we have this huge gap here. You know, how are we going to get here? And as business, you know, if you were at this, you know, presentation, if you signed up for this, you are a person obviously that's has goals. You're driving towards something, right? We all have whatever it is for us. It's a vacation, it's something with our business, something for our families. We all have our pot of gold, and we do things like this or other webinars or read books to try to grow. And this is the number one mistake is we do something like this, right? And we kind of get our mind blown because we're like sucking water through a fire hose, and then we don't take action. And we go and we find something else that is interesting that's going to help us grow our business. And then we find something else that's going to grow our business. And if you notice, what do we have here? We're building these bridges, right? We're trying, but we call this half-built bridges. And what I just want everybody who's still on here today to think about is think to yourself if you're building half-built bridges. And if there's one thing that you can do is just focus to pick a bridge, whether it be what we learned today, maybe it was something you learned before, but go ahead and pick a bridge, because when you can pick a bridge and you can actually execute and focus on this bridge, you can actually, then you can come back and focus on the next bridge and the next bridge and the next bridge. And eventually here is the excited you at the other side, and you can get there. But I think that we call this shiny object syndrome. And when things aren't working in our business, we tend to go from place to place to place. And I'm not saying that this is the thing that you need to focus on at this moment. Maybe it was something you learned before, or that now it's helping you realize that there's something with your business you need to focus on. Otherwise, this is a huge problem that we see, and I've faced this personally. And so I just wanted to share this message, like whatever it is, focus on that one thing, and you will be so, especially during this time, it's such an interesting time to be able to focus and complete these projects. So whatever it is, I hope that you can focus on some of these ideas. And the last piece that I just wanted to, provide as value to everybody is we've created this 31-point double your sales checklist. Basically, a lot of these things that we talked about today, we've created into a checklist to see what you're doing. And I've offered before, and we do this quite a bit with the community as just sort of our way to help is if you would like to, up and chat virtually right now, right over a phone call, we can help you kind of walk through this and just be helpful, and we can answer any other questions that you have, because obviously there's a lot of questions. So we kind of built this as our kind of value add here. If anybody would be interested in this, I am gonna have my, I think Kim, usually she gives out my email to everybody to ask. So if you want the checklist, you guys just let me know. And I'm happy to share that with everyone and meet up and kind of run through this. I can offer that because we don't have 1 million people on this thing. I've offered it to some pretty big groups before, and it gets kind of scary, but we're happy to do whatever it is that we can do. So with that, I guess I just want to say thank you and open it up for any final questions that anyone might have. And we can even unmute folks if we want, Kim, if that's cool, or
for that career, that's good. You don't have to pay,
I unmuted everybody, but you may have to go in and actually unmute yourself.
Sorry, I'm kind of halfway listening to the end of this webinar, man.
And talking to us, Justin. You've been unmuted.
All right. Anybody in here? We can use the chat as well. Would love to answer any questions. Again, you're gonna get the deck. There's gonna be links in this deck to do more. But I know this has been quite a lot. So any questions, any thoughts, ideas that I can be helpful with here?
So I have an I don't have very many likes on my Facebook page. Yeah. But it sounds like but I do have a decent looking page right now for my company. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is it worthwhile to create ads and boost them to get people to follow? What do you think?
So no, I would not boost ads to get people to like your Facebook page.
But to take action.
Yes, but to take action. So Cassie, remind me, what's your business again? What are people donating to? My business is
Readers Theater Works. We're a local company that does after school enrichment and push-ins. And we're starting to go online, of course.
Got you. Okay.
So we're doing an online summer camp right now, and we're probably going to do several.
Got you. Well, in that case, what I would do is we actually have a lot of data that shows that when people do click on these pieces of content, right? I'll pull some up here. They, like when we have any ads like this, people don't actually go to your Facebook page.
No.
These ads direct people to your website, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I lost you.
Dallas, we lost you again.
All right, we're back. We're back. I'm sorry.
I heard you say it directs them to the website. I just boosted an ad to experiment this week for the first time. Yeah. So yes, they go to my website. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yes, the idea is you want to direct people to your website. So I think you cut out a little bit as my internet is awful again. I apologize, but yes, you want to direct people to your web page because the data shows in your Facebook page itself. So it doesn't really matter how many likes you
Okay.
have. Those aren't going to help you, get new clients or donor thing. Once you do content in that case about some of these after school programs or how they're helping people or how they might be able to help someone so that they can click on these and go to your website. Really is what you're looking for is website visitors, not page likes.
Okay. Okay.
And if I might just throw in here, the reason we want to direct people to your website is because that's where you can control what the client does. On Facebook, you have no control about what they're doing. And when you go to the website, you can be very specific and targeting about, I want you to call now. I want you to book now. I want you to buy now. The buying process or the conversion process is very, very specific on your website. And that's why we direct them there.
Exactly. Really great question. Anybody else? All right. Well, if you're going to get my email, I'm going to have this deck over to Kim so Kim can share it. It has all the links. It's going to be in PDF format. Again, the checklist, I'm happy to share and meet with anybody to kind of go in depth. We can talk these in-depth types of questions in a separate meeting. We can actually schedule it and do that. I'm happy to be helpful in that way.
Great. Yes, and no problem, Justin. That happens. I didn't warn you that I was taking you off mute. So anyhow, yeah, and I have found Dallas has been incredibly helpful to my clients. He has a much deeper dive into Facebook than I do, and so it's always nice to have somebody that I can ship my clients over to when they've reached the extent of my knowledge. But so don't hesitate to reach out to him. The other thing is we are recording this, and the recording takes a little while to process, and then it takes a little while to upload to YouTube. So it will not be done before I sign off for the day, but I will send it out first thing in the morning so that you will have access to it in the morning. Okay, so does anybody have anything else before we call it good for the afternoon and let you take your 20 extra minutes from heaven and do whatever it is you're going to do with that extra gift of time? No, thank you, Cassie. I'm so glad that you got a lot out of this. So, all right. I don't see anything else. Going once, going twice.
All right. We'll see everybody. Take care.
Right. Thanks, Dallas.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thanks everybody for coming. Bye-bye.